In progress.
So it's 9:30, so we'll call the Forestry and Recreation meeting. We'll do the pledge first. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll have roll call. Rich Huber is here. Bill Huber here. Bill Messinger here, and Marty Buca. Next, we'll have the approval of the agenda. Move we approve the agenda. Motion by Marty. And you know, the second by Gary to approve the agenda presented. All those in favor, by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is Mary or Jeff?
Oh, there's somebody on an iPad. Let me see if this is Mary.
It's Gary.
It's scary.
Gary is no, I don't see Mary on here.
Oh. Well, if she comes on,
I'll holler at you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we move on to public comments. Public comments. Is there any public comments? Any public comments? Is there anything online or anything? No.
George Bousset is on, but I think he's at later in the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Come up. So otherwise.
Hearing none, we will move on. So next is approval of the minutes. Last meeting. Here we're in the packet here, so.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Bill makes a motion to approve the minutes.
September 3rd, 2025 minutes as presented.
Okay,
Hey, George.
and then we need a second, so,
I'll second it.
okay, Gary, your seconds it, so.
We got
all
a
in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved, same sign.
we got a question by Gary, I think. Go ahead, Gary. Maybe not.
None?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, okay, well, did we approve that? Right.
Yep.
Okay, so that's minutes I take care of, okay. So next we move on to the reports, so, we'll have the, fishery. Is that here, okay.
Jason Folstead for Fisheries. We wrapped up our spring, summer, and fall surveys in Ashland County this year. We did Lake Galilee. We have a creel currently going on in Lake Galilee. That's where we're at the boat landing, monitoring who's catching, how much they're catching, and when they're catching those fish. That will continue on Lake Galilee until the end of the game fish season, which is the first weekend in March. We wrapped up a muskie survey on Spider Mopo Lakes, Dunn County GG. The muskie population there is pretty decent, about 3/4 of fish per acre, which is a little bit above average. Usually a half a muskie per acre is about average, so you're slightly above average in those two lakes for muskies. Day Lake Dam, I know I talked about that last time you were here. Nothing happened to that this fall. So the feds are planning on something this upcoming summer, withdrawing Day Lake down and then repairing it. We don't have any definite timelines on that, you know, but when I do, I'll let you guys know. And we'll be working with the feds closely when they do draw the water down to make sure that whatever happens to the fish, they're not stranded or anything like that. And then if they do get flushed downstream, we'll do a restocking program if needed to get some fish back in there. The only other thing that might affect the lakes in Ashland County is the muskie opener is moved now this upcoming season to the walleye before the Muskie opener on Memorial Day weekend. At the end of May, now it's gonna move to the beginning of May. So they'll provide a little people with more opportunities to fish muskies earlier in the season. So, and all those GG lakes are low muskies, so that's a good opportunity for people to get out there and get one earlier if they want and keep it. Next year or next spring and summer, we're focusing a lot of our effort in Iron County. We're gonna be doing a Gow, Flowage, Pine Lake, all those, so we're trying to minimize travel, so we're gonna be concentrating on doing a bunch of lakes in one area. So next year, it's mainly Iron County. We'll be following up on Lake Galilee and Day Lake, and Upper Clam next year. But the last 2 years, we really focused on GG Lakes and Galilee, Meter and all those. The next 2 years will be focusing mainly in Iron County with a few follow-ups in Ashland County. So we're mainly doing that just to focus our effort and time and concentrating, spending less fuel and mileage traveling from all these lakes. So
As far as, what do you do as far as what you do? As far as these lakes and stuff, what?
So we go there, we'll throw nets in the spring or electroshock around the shoreline, get a gist of what kind of fish and the population densities in those lakes. And then if we need to stock them, like we stock English, spider moqua with walleyes. So the last couple of years we were in there, did a walleye population estimate in there, figured out that they're a little low. So we're going to continue the stocking efforts in those lakes for walleyes. We're going to be doing a survey on Upper Clam this year. Actually, Hayward is going to be doing that one for us, just because it's closer for them to get to it than us way over by Mercer. So if that one needs to be, we have been stocking it with walleyes. If they determine that the population is still low, we'll continue to stock that with walleyes also. So the Hayward crew will be doing upper and lower clam lakes this year to kind of again, we're concentrating our efforts on grouping up lakes in the same area so we don't do as much travel between lakes.
So is your job as far as besides Ashland County, you go into Iron County and Price County or?
We do inland lakes in Ashland and Iron County. We do not deal with Lake Superior, but we do all the trout streams and lakes within Ashland and Iron County. Price County, butternut's on the line. So they'll be surveying butternut in 2 years. We'll assist with that, but that's mainly the Park Falls crew since they're right next to Butternut Lake there. So, other than that, that's all I have for fisheries.
What's the muskie limit? What's the size for muskies now?
So the muskie limit varies between lakes. A lot of the ones up in Ashland County are 28 min, so you at least need to have 28-inch size limit. Those regulations will be changing in 2 years. A lot of them are going to be going to the statewide 40-inch size limit. We noticed when we were doing the surveys in those lakes the last few years, there's some really nice fish in there. So we like to not say that people can't keep them, but at least make sure it's 40 inches before they do.
Oh,
So we'll be reverting back to the statewide muskie regulation of 40 inches on a lot of those lakes.
no.
Not Potter and Mineral, but the rest of them will be going up.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was just from the data that we collected the last few years.
Inventory's up for bigger fish.
Yeah, exactly. Before, 20 years ago, they were all small. Now they're starting to bulk up a little bit and gain a little length. So,
Okay. Any other questions? Well, we got any question for Jason? Okay. If not, thanks, then. If not, we'll move on to wildlife then.
So I'm not Jenna, but I did get a note from her.
Okay.
So I'll cover what she gave me here. So first topic is the 2025 elk harvest. So in the northern zone, or excuse me, overall it's the 8th managed elk hunt, and it occurred from October 18th to December 19th. In the northern zone, which includes the Clam Lake Elk Range, for the licenses, there is 17,737 applicants, and there was 4 state tags issued and 4 tribal hunters. Of those state issued tags, they scored 4 out of 4, so they harvested 4 out of 4 there. And out of the tribal tags, they harvested 3 out of 4. So overall, they went 7 out of 8 out of the northern herd. So pretty good success rate there. In the central zone, which is the Black River herd, there was 8,452 applicants and 9 state tags were issued. Of those state tags, there's 4 bulls and 5 antlerless, and the success rate was 3 out of 4 in bulls and 5 out of 5 in antlerless. So again, only one that didn't get their tag filled there. So really good success rates on this hunt. Looking forward to 2026, they're going to change the season structure a little bit. So it's going to be one continuous season. It's going to start the Saturday closest to October 15th. And the quotas will remain the same. So the same number of tags that were issued this year. The application period for begins March 1st and runs through the end of March. So if you're interested in applying for a tag, get on Go Wild in the month of March, and it's a $10 application. Of that $10, $7 of it goes directly to Habitat and Bird Management. So, got a pretty direct link to some conservation efforts around there. So, other items, black bear collaring. So, we're still looking for active den sites this fall and winter. So, if you happen to see a den site, or suspected den site, contact local biologist and they'll get out there and take a look at it. If you are the one who reports the den, they will give you the opportunity to come out with them and handle the cubs when they measure them and tag them and stuff. So kind of a neat opportunity to handle a bear cub.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a perk of the job there. So yeah, Jenna just asked that you contact her as soon as possible, and she'll do the groundwork and confirm the den site, and then get involved again on the backside there. So that's one ongoing project. Other things she's working on, she's been doing wolf surveys here the last couple weeks. So that pretty much she's doing like routes around the county, looking for wolf tracks. So she's been really active with that. Also working on otter track surveys as well. She's been working or assisting with the statewide beaver management plan. So obviously, beavers is one of those things that people have strong feelings on one way or another. So that plan's been getting a lot of publicity, I guess you might say. If you want to read up on that a little bit, you go onto the DNR website and just type in beaver management plan. It'll kind of have where it sits right there. And then also there's a public listening session online on January 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. So if you're interested in having a say or listening to where it's at right now. And then there's also public input that you can put in some public input at the end of the month. So if you got strong feelings on how you think we should be managing beaver in Wisconsin, feel free to go ahead and put in your 2 cents there. Also, she's working on her 2026 project and budget planning. So, doing her work plan and figuring out what the budget's going to be. Been working on wild rice management, tribal consultation letter. And, obviously every year working on the winter severity index data collection. So measuring snow depths and things like that. So we know how it's affecting the herd out there as far as the deer herd goes. So that's what I got from Jenna. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to pass them on.
Do we have any questions?
I got a question. As far as the Elton number of kills, is that going to remain the same for 2006 as it was in 2025?
Yeah, the number of licenses issued will remain the same, and if we have the same success rate, yep, the number of kills should remain the same. So
Okay, when does that change?
I don't know that accurate. We'll have to catch June on that one.
Okay.
I'd imagine it gets reassessed. Actually, I'm not even gonna speculate. I know they reassess it, but I don't know what the time is on it. I'll pass that question on to you.
Okay.
And the elk herd is pretty good.
Yeah, it's been slowly building. Both herds, I think I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I'm not a wildlife artist, but I know the Black River herd is bigger. But both of them have seen steady growth.
Oh.
And also we got that herd down in Forest too, which is smaller, but is also continuing to grow. So yeah, overall it's not like it's like wildfire where they're spread everywhere, but it's continued growth, on a slight incline for the last several years.
Okay. Thanks, Ed.
Yep.
No more questions? Okay, so, next would be Forestry Meeting.
Um. So for forestry, I'll go over fire suppression as a summary from last year. The following statistics are from DNR coverage areas or fire spot with DNR assistance. The numbers do not include co-op areas, which encompass southern and central Wisconsin, or the Schwamigan Nicolay National Forest. That's DNR assistance was provided. So for 2025 in Ashland County, there were 9 fires for a total of 27, a little over 27 acres. The biggest fire was in.
Okay, I'll try and get in there enough.
For a string of 4 roadside fires that burned over 22 acres. The 5-year average in Ashland County is a little over 5 fires for 16 acres. So if we look statewide for 2025, there were 222 fires accounting for a little over 3,000 acres. The 5-year average overall for Wisconsin is 1,087 fires for 2,744 acres. The causes of these fires, the top one is debris burning at 35%, equipment at 26%, power lines at 9%. And just for information, prior to this winter, the last 2 winters were kind of lackluster as far as snowfall, which kind of contributed for the increase in the number of fires for the last 3 years. But the good side to look at is that educational outreach and cultural change kind of contributed toward the downward trends in debris burning over time. So that is working, the educational outreach. DNR time standards for the county forest. New year, we're currently working on an 848-hour time commitment to the Ashland County Forest. As of December, the end of December, we have completed 575.25 hours, or 67.84%. We have 272.75 hours remaining. Most of this consisted of timber sale establishment. So we have sales going on Trot Road and Masterson Fire Lane. On Masterson Fire Lane, we've completed 42 out of 119 acres. And on Trot Road, we completed 45 out of 116 acres. Right now it's kind of inactive due to the snow depth, but we'll pick it up again in the spring. Forest certification preparations have begun for the 2026 audit. There's a meeting scheduled for February the 19th up at Ashland. It's kind of geared towards the administrator and assistant administrator and what they do. There'll be another meeting scheduled for July to cover the timber sale operations and documentation part of the audit. Issues audit will be held the week of August the 3rd through the 7th. It'll cover Douglas, Bayfield, Ashland, and Iron County. Where do you work out of? Mellon. No. And you've only been there like a couple, less than a couple of years. I started in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's new, so.
Okay. Not new to forestry.
No, but I mean, new
Yeah.
for us, yeah.
So you spend all your time working in Ashland County, or majority? Pretty much. I work with Chris, and work on other state lands here in Ashland County. I assist with the Good Neighbor Authority. The National Forest.
Any other questions?
Before we move on, I would like to just add a couple of things from my level with forestry. So do have a couple of things we'd like to talk about. We do have a new area forestry leader. Matt Blaylock, who you guys may have met at one point or another, he's been our area leader for several years here. He's retiring. His last day is February 6th. Our new area leader is going to be Eric Srine. He's currently the team leader up in Washburn, covering Bayfield County. But formerly he has had some interactions down here in Iron County, so really familiar with the area. Been up here for a number of years. I want to say 10 or 11 years. So should work out to be a fairly smooth transition. So we're looking forward to getting Eric involved and getting him down here and meeting you guys. Also, another thing to add, obviously we do have a couple vacancies over Melon yet. We got Roy up there, but we still have room for a ranger who used to be Garrett. If you guys remember him, the younger fellow who was here for about a year and a half. And then also Andy Oberto, his old technician job, who's running the dozer and assisting with forestry work. So those two positions remain vacant. However, we did just close our application period for both the technician and the forester jobs. And we're moving through the rating process, and then we're going to do interviews here in February. So hopefully by early to mid-March, we'll know whether or not we're successful in getting a candidate. If we are successful, and I'm optimistic, I think the start date is May 18th, I believe. So before June, we'll get them in here, get them started, and hopefully, knock on wood, be fully staffed for my first time since I've been up here. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I just kind of wanted to quick talk about, since Roy's not necessarily too involved with fire, just kind of an outlook for the fire season. So kind of how our annual process goes is this time of year, we're working on our fire simulations and trainings. So last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of getting together and running through like project fire simulations, or how we'd react if there's a fire that was rapidly building and things like that. The next couple of weeks, some of our newer folks have some intro level trainings down in Rothschild, or kind of a central location. We get our folks together and get some of our core classes. So a couple of our newer folks on our staff are going to be down there doing that. Other things we're doing in February here to get ready for fire season, we're going to start having our VFD trainings. So I'll be reaching out to all the Ashland fire departments and scheduling the time with them to have a training to get them thinking about wildland fire and get them kind of turning their gears on that. The other things we're doing our inspections. So, we have to do annual inspections on all of our equipment. So working our way through that, doing the necessary oil changes, filter changes, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have our trucks ready to go by the third week of February here, and knock on wood, there'll still be snow on the ground for a while yet up here. And then at that point, I'm going to start looking for opportunities to send some of our less experienced folks down south, get them some fire, so that way it's not the first time they see a fire up here, So it's kind of where we're sitting at. As far as projections go, we're still sitting at anticipating higher amounts of precipitation than normal for the next couple of months. So if you think you're out of the woods with snowfall, maybe not so much. So that's not necessarily a bad thing though, because we are kind of still on that verge of being on the drought index. So the amount of snow we're getting here this winter should hopefully bump us down and out of that for a while. And then whenever the snow starts melting, we'll start fire staffing and hopefully have a quiet fire season. We'll be ready to go. Any questions for you guys on that kind of stuff?
You're out of Melon.
I'm on a Mercer.
Mercer.
Yep.
So you do Iron County and Ashland County?
Yeah, yep. I cover the Mellon Ranger Station and the Mercer Ranger Station.
Pardon me? Maybe you should wear tags.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. One other thing I forgot to mention. So Jake Walzak, who used to be our certification, I guess you'd say team lead. He has moved up the chain to be our deputy division administrator now. So we'll be looking to refill that position here. Obviously with the audit cycle that never really ends, it's an important position for us to maintain. So we'll be looking to refill that, but fairly local guy. So if you've heard the name, he's moved on all the way up to number 2 in the division of forestry now. So
Any other questions? So hopefully you have Melon staff before fire season, hopefully.
it's unlikely that we'll have it fully staffed before fire season.
Oh, okay.
But we do have, I will be covering Mellon more often than not, and we still have Andy Oberto to bring in. So we'll have full coverage. It's just that it's not going to be organic to Mellon until this summer would be the earliest.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody ask? If not, we'll move on then to snowmobile. An ATV report.
Hey, before I get started, I'd like to introduce Don Deal. He's the Vice President of Alliance and member of the Climb Like Forest Riders. This is Rich Ruppema. He's the Treasurer for the Alliance, member of the Climb Like Forest Riders. Gail McDonald is the President of the Climb Like Forest Riders. Fires reporting, it says ATV. I don't do nothing with the ATV clubs, so there's two clubs in the county. I'm thinking maybe you ought to get them involved, because they have other issues too that they want to talk about.
ATV,
Yeah, I mean, you got a club in Butter Run, you got a club over in Climb Lake. You should probably get some of them people involved, see what they have to say also. You know,
that would be a bad idea, yeah.
so,
Okay,
one of the things I got to say is, well, I met with Dan Grady last week. We understand now that Ashland County owns the Tuckers, you have to pay the insurance. You have to do the maintenance on it. I got inventory of equipment that is owned and insured by Ashland County. And talking with him, I have a little concern because I get the feeling that some people don't believe that there's that much economical impact with snowmobiling. They don't believe there's a lot of people that come from out of the county. Yes, you know, and everybody says, well, Ashland, well, of course, through Ashland, you got the corridor that goes through the trail, and there's no place to stop at, no gas station, all that.
yeah,
The southern part of the county draws a lot. So I talked to several businesses, and I said, just to stop in and ask where they're from. Groups from Pulaski, Iowa, Illinois, Kansas. We're pulling people from all over. Our trail systems, we keep them up, people come, we get good snow, and we're pulling a lot of non-residents, a lot of people. And people don't realize the snowmobiler stops in, me and my wife would go for a ride, you stop in and get a burger, it's $40-50. You know, snowmobilers spend money, you know, they spend that kind of money to come here. The problem is, in the southern part of the county, there's no, should I say, place for them to stay, there's not a lot of lodging, you know, so. That's why we're pulling a lot of people from Mercer, out of Park Fall, people come from Hayward, Lake Minnetonka and all that. I talked to Mary, I said, when's the last time an economical impact was done, a study for snowmobiling? She thought it was like 2005. Now, there is a do-it-yourself training session that's coming up in February. I mean, and we can do a study ourselves, and they make what they call like the trail counters and all that, and I looked at it, but I'm not gonna buy a trail counter. The Lions can't afford it, they're $1,000.
oh,
But it would be, but you, kind of like we got on highway, we want on the cars, but whatever, you know, so. So we need to really look at the economical impact, because I don't think people realize. I know I talked to one of our club members, he was in Climb Lake last Saturday, riding. There were 200 or 300 snowmobiles.
I believe that.
Hey, you guys talked to Paul Connolly, drop time. He said he had on average, he had 25 that are cracking with all day long. He had 30, he had 150. I talked to Ronnie Jones, he had a bunch. Lena had a bunch. I mean, the southern part of the county draws tourism, because people like to ride through the woods and trail systems and stuff. You know? That's why there isn't a month national. I mean, you ride through town and once look at a house, they get out, they head south, you know?
Yeah.
And there's people riding constantly. I mean, I had yesterday, you would think, oh, you know, he's slow. I looked at Trail 13, go right across my driveway, and I was all working yesterday, and I just in an hour and a half, I saw 13 slugs go down there. So, that's during the week.
Yeah.
So, people are out, there are people spending money, you know, and your gas tax and all, I mean, the revenue that can be going to the county, I don't think people understand it, so.
Well, I just think there's a big difference, like you said, from the board members that live in Ashland compared to the rest of us that are in the southern part,
Right.
where we all see it and understand it. But the problem with Ashland County is there's 8,500 people live in Ashland.
Right.
And there's 15 or 2,000 live, so I,
Right.
you know. We see it, because we're mainly from the southern part, so
Yeah,
we see it, just. Get that message up.
Like there's sleds going from down there a lot of whole times.
well, yeah, I talked to, Bob at Copper Ridge, he said he's at, you know, that's right in the city of Mount, you gotta drive into town and
Yeah.
drive back up.
Yeah.
He said he's got well over 200 sons coming to his place.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
It's just, we're not just the snowmobile, it's just a big difference. The way everybody looks at Ashland County compared to. Cause the majority live up there.
Right.
Here, like, I think Marty's the most northern one here, but, well, except for Bill, but he's got places all over, but.
Yeah.
But everybody else is from High Bridge down, so you guys are, I mean, see it, and, I mean, it's like the last 2 years, everybody was struggling.
Right.
And now,
Right.
they didn't make the money.
So how much does Ashland County provide for snowmobile clubs, and do they have a certain amount that they donate every year?
$15,000.
Do you think it would be to your benefit to come and talk to the board sometime and say, hey, you know, the more money that you stick into ours, the more we can generate?
Right, granted, it should be, because when I moved up here in 2013. Bill Chandler was getting paid as a trail boss. And that always said that money was gonna go to the alliance, and it's been at 15. Well, everybody knows, to fill up one of our tuckers at $440 for fuel.
Right, and what's the Tucker cost?
Tucker,
380.
set of, huh?
380.
380 for a new tucker, set of cracks on it, $40,000.
I don't know if it was paid as going down, because it's kind of like a
Well, we're-
lane.
Something to work on for next year.
Yeah, but it's a Lane County board right now, because in April, you're gonna have major changes, probably maybe a third of the county board will be changing, either people retiring. Yeah, people retiring or just not running or getting beat, so, you know. I've been on the county board for a few years, and, you know, I don't really. Unless somebody brings it up, or I never was on the forestry committee before, so, you know, I never heard a report.
Well, you know, to give you an example, like every year, we spend anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000 on signs and posts.
Yeah,
We got 207 miles of trail,
but I think.
and I keep going, where the hell do they go?
Yeah, well, I think that would be a thing to bring to the attention of the full board. And, you know, just kind of let them know when, I know money has been tight as far as the county, they're constantly cutting everything.
Yeah,
You know, they were saying, oh, what can we cut, what can we cut, but if you don't spend money, you don't get money in. The more money you spend,
Well,
a lot of
I
times.
use that money to do maintenance on it, and our routine oil changes, filters, you know, it's everything. Well,
well,
it's
just maintenance,
I
yeah.
didn't even mention Bridget.
That's on my agenda.
Oh, I'm just saying, you know, maybe sometime after the elections, like in May or whatever, or maybe next fall, or sometime before we do the budget, I guess, is what we're.
What I would suggest is people from Ashland County go talk to other counties and see how they're doing, you know. Oneida, Vilas, the bigger counties, just to get a feel of how they're doing it. Cause I know I'm not, my daughter's a CEO and president of down in Minocqua area. She says the way they run it down here and the way they run it here is like 90 days, it's completely different.
Altogether different, eh?
Granted, it's a lot bigger, more money down there, but you can pull some ideas from down there, you know. That's what I would suggest for that.
But you were before the board a couple of times for snowmobile, you know, stuff.
No,
I thought you were.
Just here.
Oh, here.
Just here, yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you came on.
Ron is a big.
Ron does.
Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I think,
That's
so.
right.
Okay, yeah, that's weird, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So,
since you brought it up, we, the snow council is not releasing any money for what I was told, the snow council is gonna not release any money for bridges, okay? I did more digging, since the STARS program was put in. Basically, the snowmobile trail in its integrity is a county asset. Bridges and everything. And I talked to the legislative people at the AWSC and I said, how does this work? They said, if a bridge is on a funded trail, it would be in our funds for the county, and it's a county bridge. That's what I was told, so we need to have some issues we have to hash out. The reason I brought up, well, also, we have the one bridge up on the Joma property. That's condemned, we got a bypass for now. there is a bridge over Dryden Creek. So we got booted off the property, the landowner says we can have the bridge. That bridge could be moved and put up there, it'd have to be pulled out, it'd have to be inspected by KBIS and all that, and it could be put in up there. That could save us some money.
For right now, that bridge on Dryden Creek there is not being used, it's gated off.
Yep. We got booted off that land. We had a 20-year lease with our old landowner. Last March, it expired. We got a letter a week later, done.
Yeah, I see the bridge is still there. I went and looked this morning as I drove past it and I was like, oh. My
Yeah,
mother.
so now we come down 351, we're going down Gordon Lake Road and then past through that Rudnick's property and then following Gordon Lake Road and getting back up to 13A and we had to redo all that too, so. So we had to do all that reroute and we had to do a big reroute up by Maringo also for the member. So, yeah, now let's go on to Enbridge. I've been talking with Michelle Johnson from Enbridge.
Yeah.
She's been really helpful working with us and all that. There is from the north of High Bridge from Poppy Road, the trail crosses and goes all the way down to Highway C. Once they start the pipeline, we're off. I said, and once I give you a notification, you've got 5 weeks and you gotta get your trail rerouted. I told her, so it better not be in a snowmobile season, there's no way in hell I can reroute a trail in 5 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
When I talked to Matt Erickson, we found a road route we could take, hopefully they don't plow it, if it's gonna, but the problem with the road route, we don't get the reimbursement for road writing. And with the law, you can do a 5-mile route on a road and you have to be back on the trail, well, we're gonna be over 5 miles. To bounce around and get back. So, it's gonna be if that happens this winter.
Does Enbridge plan on starting something soon or?
Here's another, let me finish.
I'm sorry.
So there's 2 grants they gotta get approval for. She said she's not sure when it's gonna happen yet, but when it does, they got the trail already marked, they got it all written, they're ready to rock and roll, as soon as they get that last signature, they're ready to go, so. If and when that happens, who knows? She doesn't know, she can't tell me, so I may call you and say, but right now tentatively. We've got a different reroute plan through private property. There, because we can't go on our existing trail. There's 9 landowners there. So we gotta get permission from all these 9 landowners and we gotta cross Silver Creek, which means we're gonna need a bridge. We just don't. My French, just don't shit out a bridge and we, so we gotta, the DN, you know, people are turning what's ladies and Kim.
Yeah,
Gotta get her involved and all this stuff. Yeah, we'll go on, we wanna get going here in town, you know, so.
When does the snowmobile season end as far as the trails?
Well, normally it's March 15th, but if we have good snow, we'll run them all the way, we've already ran it in March. If we got good snow, walk down the weather, you know, we get snow and it stays cold.
Yeah, I thought there was a certain date when the trails were closed, period. That if we have
The
plenty of.
rule of thumb's always been March 15th, right?
yeah, it's always March 15th. I mean, that's when the road signs go on, so that's typically when the trails are falling apart. I mean, it's
But we've
warm
been-
weather.
Yeah, but we've had years, I've been here.
There's been years where it's gone beyond that, but it's usually only a week or two. Mother Nature just doesn't last that long usually.
So.
Yeah.
So we've got that and, so that's gonna be a headache. I don't know, I'm gonna meet with Michelle in April. Maybe she'll have some more information. I did ask her, I said, once the pipeline is in, can we use that trail? She wasn't sure. There was something about some wording in their contract, like 2 years, they gotta put some type of fencing and let Mother Nature take over and all this stuff. I don't know.
They could use, I know it's not the same, but they could use the natural gas pipeline.
Yeah,
It's north and south, can't they?
yeah, we're running
Yeah.
it. She said we could cross it, she didn't know we were running along the run. So, I don't. Find out more in April. And maybe it won't happen. Well, I was told that they went back to the tribe to maintain what they've got.
Well, once they figure out what dollars and what it is, they.
That's okay. The contract, we took the contract, we looked at that, and Brady and the Alliance had looked at it, we're gonna agree to sign the contract with the county. For maintaining the trails.
But not to interrupt you, because I do Jacobs and Gardens in my district, so if you guys can come up with like. You know, something want me to propose to get you on the agenda for the big board meeting in the summer.
Okay.
I can come out to your spring, you guys have a meeting in the spring,
Okay.
so I know.
Sure. We'll do that. We did go talk to the grant lady, my wife and I. She gave us some ideas, she didn't write any grants, we wrote the grants. We did get one grant from Enbridge for $10,000 for the groomer shed that we proposed to build in Mellon. Issue was the Alliance is not a 501c3. We fill out the paperwork to turn it in, my wife spent days submitting all the stuff to the IRS. Come to find out the Alliance is a 501c4. You know, I never knew what to do. So it's happened way back when. So with the money that we got from Enbridge, Light Club was decent, they're generous, they accepted it and then they turned the money back over to us. So at least we got our $10,000. So, and we're trying to earmark that for a shed in Mellon, because right now the ring sits outside. Luckily in Mellon, we've got Kate Peter's shop, he lets us pull in there, thaw it out once a week and grease it up and stuff like that, so. Yeah, for that. Rooming trails are fantastic. These guys, Rich can verify it, I mean, we had water guys come in and help. Cut brush and do all that stuff. The clubs busted their ass for 2 to 3 weeks, I mean. We wrecked some stuff, you know, but we fixed it, we had to get them open. Yeah, yeah. But I've heard nothing but compliments on our trail system. The biggest thing was, again, signage, and it seems like that's never anything. So. Let's see what else. Oh, and we're getting close to running out of money. For grooming, so. Don's gonna let us know when we're gonna, then we have to look at it. Oh, okay. Right now, we're having the clubs put in place, so just to, keep our pockets good, because we were pawing pretty hard before. But now with this warm weather and the thaw and the freeze, the trails are pretty hard, so they're set up, yeah.
In a week's time, how much traffic does it actually get? Do you just got a guesstimate?
Past my house, I bet you in a week's time, I have a minimum of 500 to 600 sleds go by my house in a week's time.
Next time I had over 1,000 last weekend, easily.
I live just south of Tyler and Payne. I'm right on the Trail 13, Trail 13 part going through the town. Yeah, on a week, through a week, yeah. It's crazy. We're pulling a lot of people. A lot of people.
I don't think the bars will be open again. We had a bad snow year. I think it happened when we closed down.
Yeah.
Can't pay bills.
Yes, that's true. You've done a lot better compared to the last 2 years. Last 2 years.
The biggest complaint I got now is sluggers, there's nothing open, well. Yeah, it's just, they had the years like this, so they don't open up till like Wednesday or Thursday, you know, and it's like. I stopped at my house, we go get something to eat, I said, eat where you had it. You know? So,
Rich didn't want to make anything.
no.
Yeah, we finally had a snow year, so it turned out good.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of, we've got a lot of compliments for our town.
Oh, yeah, you're doing a good job.
So. You guys have anything you wanna add, or?
No, other than the fact that our grant, we did roughly 63,000. We spent 37,000 and a little more just on non-groom, getting the trails ready. We have the windstorms, we have a huge snowstorms, lots of damage.
Then we had all the logos were working summer.
Yeah, we're pushing our limit, we're much spent our limit on our grant. If not today, next week at this time will be over. So we're gonna be operating in the red.
That would,
How many volunteers do you have in like the Clam Lake?
We're looking for more. We're looking for more.
I know, but how many do you have roughly now?
Rich,
I'd say, you know, that went out and did the trails, maybe 12.5, you know, that kind of helped us out. We have a couple real strong donors that really helped us out in our area. Other areas just don't have that right now. So that helped us tremendously. But, you know, we got a good following in Climate, but some of the other areas don't have the same. You know, like Ashland Club's been struggling, Mountain Club.
yeah, we had seven, I had six, myself and 5 other members for the Melon Club, 54 miles. Oh, I'm getting too old. These
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, then we're using $300,000 machines for bulldozers.
Yeah.
So they're not made for it.
No, we're not made for
You
it.
know, we're breaking windows and mirrors and backing
Yeah,
into
you
things.
can't cut it, I mean, it was all
It's
this
just too
down.
much. Yeah, it's just. But the program, what did they do? They did an emergency thing 2 years ago. And then they opened it up for emergency funding, and then a couple of the counties really took advantage of it, and they'll never do it again. A couple counties had a couple $100,000 out there.
oh, yeah,
They just hired a contractor to clear every ounce of their trail.
oh, yeah,
They had all that wood on and all that, and they just hired the loggers to come in and to take care of it. They didn't do nothing.
And it got out of hand, and so John asked for that this year, and they won't.
yeah, they won.
We're just asking for a little bit, and they won't do it. There's no money.
Yeah, it was a good thing, but
Snow Council got about 500,000, a little less than 500,000, and they're hanging on to it, they just said, we don't know what's gonna happen. But I asked about the bridge, he said, there's gonna be old bridges, but, fix what you got. I said, well, I got one that we condemn. And you know, how do you fix them, you know?
Well, yeah, and what, move that Dragon Creek one.
Yeah.
We're anywhere from 10 grand just to get it out of there to 50 grand to put it back in.
Yeah, that's a 55-foot bridge, this 40-foot bridge cost $89,000.
oh, okay,
That 55-footer would do a hell of a lot more than that, you're looking all over $100,000. So,
that ain't cheap.
No,
well, they changed everything too, the bridge manufacturer, they changed things because so many of the southern, a lot of them run from Tuckers to like tractors. And there's so much extra weight, so many of them, they have the 25-ton load rating, they gotta be 12 feet wide, you gotta have this. And they look at the, you know, the wind and then the air, it's ridiculous. It's like,
Anything else? Any questions? Do you have anything else?
no, I think that's a.
Okay. All right, yeah, okay,
If I could circle back around to that elk question that you had earlier, I actually got a text message from Jenna.
okay,
So she said that the elk tags are reevaluated annually, and that's because the elk herd is so comparatively small compared to the deer herd that they want to make sure that we're not over harvesting. So reevaluated annually, you know, over the last 8 years, there's been over 35 bulls harvested in the Clam Lake area. So they want to make sure we're not over harvesting. She said at this point, that's why the 2026 is going to remain the same. She says that she expects it'll increase slightly in the next 3-4 years, but you know, that'll be seen in the annual reevaluation of the harvest. So
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So. Let's see, there's nothing else, for snowmobile. Before, well, we don't. Have a rec officer,
We do not.
we do well,
We do not.
and I was gonna say we do not have one,
That's one thing the county really needs.
yeah, yeah,
You need to have a rec office.
Are they advertising for it or?
As far as I know, they are. The last time I talked to the sheriff's department, they said it was an open posting until it was filled, so. But they're having a hard time filling their patrol positions, so.
It's in the county garage, you get right along with
I
that.
put a Facebook post out, right, sled all day, get paid.
Yeah, cause that's stuff like the four-wheeler and the snowmobile and stuff for the rec officer, that's just this one or what?
It's up at Coney Drive, up in Hyper.
So they've got some of the equipment up north and we've got some of the equipment down here.
And it just sits there, then nobody uses it, I mean,
Well, we run it to maintain it, but we don't use it.
oh, okay. Oh, cause I was wondering about that, where that, oh, okay. So. So it's getting old, not even being used.
Correct.
Okay, so. Okay, so then we'll move on to the discussion of action items, so.
All right. The first issue is timber sale extensions. Everybody should have got a copy of the letter. The short version is recommending that we extend all the sales for 1 year with no increases because of the snow conditions last year. Some of these sales are completed already. We're just waiting on final billing, so they need to be extended until we get that billing taken care of. But if you guys have any specific questions or anything that you want to talk about, I'm more than willing, but that's the short version of it.
Yeah, we talked about that before anyway, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, as far as the timber production, on a mild year, everything is more torn up. And compared to like where we're at this year.
Right, this year's really, this is a perfect year for logging,
Right.
winter logging.
As far as winter logging, because we have enough snow when it's been
And
cold
it's been
enough.
cold, yeah.
So,
And so the last 2 years obviously have been non-conducive for winter logging. We've had some cold weather, but we haven't had the snow that we need to be able to build winter road with.
well, I would make a motion that we go ahead and allow them 1 more year extension. For on timber sales, on the timber sales, I see, which is very helpful. I see that he kind of gives a breakdown on as far as the status of what's going on in each sale, which is real helpful for me, because I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I want to try to provide a little bit of
Right.
reasons for my recommendations.
well, I would make that motion that we allow the 1 year extensions.
Okay,
I'll second.
motion made by Bill and then seconded by Marty. All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, giving them motion carried.
All right, the next item, snowmobile trail maintenance contract. Everybody should have got a copy of that as well. Back in 1985, when the county went to the alliance model that we are working in now, they created this contract and it's been modified several times over the years. I think the last time any changes were made was 6 or 7 years ago. John and I talked earlier this year, about cleaning up some of the language in here. We've gone back and forth trying to figure out how best to do it. This is the iteration that we came up with, so looking for committee approval so John and I can sign this and move forward then.
So would this go to the county board then?
It would not.
Okay, so this committee just would.
Correct. And it's essentially the same contract we've been working under for the last 30 years. We just cleaned up some of the language to make it a little more clear and understandable.
You guys are all happy with it? Chris, we are at the county.
Yeah, the county is.
So how long is the contract good for these?
So when we sign the contract, it's good for 3 years. It automatically renews at the end of 3 years if neither of the two parties have any changes or anything that they want to make to it. But then if the alliance or the county wants to make changes, we notify one or the other in the spring that we need to make changes. And then we sit down and hash out what those changes are. Otherwise, it just continues to renew.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because these wordings now, it makes it more.
Tried to clean it up a
Yeah.
little bit from the way it was written in the past.
Yeah, I think it's cool, yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion that we adopt this with the changes. That the committee accept this.
Trail maintenance contract,
Don't agree with.
okay, so motion made by Bill, second by Gary. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Full same sign. Motion carried.
So the next issue is not a fun issue to have to talk about, but we have to talk about it. Everybody should have got a letter in their packet that I can't find. No, I do. Regarding ATV funding, winter ATV funding. we've got a piece of winter ATV trail in Ashland County run from Clam Lake down towards the Cisco beyond federal, mostly on federal property with that work. The last 2 winters with little to no snow, we have not done enough work in the winter grooming of that winter ATV, so the state wants their grant money back. In my attempt to try to get as much money to the Alliance as I can, I have paid the second halves of both of those grants as well. So now I have to come up with $10,868 in order to put those monies back where they need to be. And after talking with Dan Grady and John, I think the best plan of action is to take it out of the $15,000 budgeted this year for the Alliance, to give the 2 halves back to the state and 2 halves back to the county, so that the books balance out, and then give the remainder of that $15,000 to the Alliance.
You and Dad, they figure that story too.
Yes, yeah, I talked with Dan about that.
Well, best way, I'll make a motion that we need
We
that.
talked about it at the Alliance meeting.
How often, does this ever happen before?
This has not happened, and in my 20 years of being here, it's not happened before.
No, I mean.
This is something kind of out of the blue. I assumed the state would allow those monies to stay with the clubs.
Well, that's why maybe we push back a little bit, but does it pay to push back? I suppose not.
Well, I gently tried to push back, but
Okay.
Pat Anderson from the state said it's just, we have to close those grants out, and that's the way that it has to be done.
That's the way it is.
Now, Don and I have been working to make sure that we document the work on the dead horse properly this year. And we've got like 90% of that funding documented now.
Oh,
So we shouldn't run into an issue going forward with documentation. It's just a matter of, if we get another year like 2 years ago with no snow, it's kind of hard.
yeah, that's, what can you do, you know?
Is there any way we could do more work so we wouldn't have to give the money back this year?
No, because it's from a year and 2 years ago. already.
Yeah.
Yes, but is there any way that we could do more work, maybe more brushing or?
They won't let us play that way.
No.
I know what you're trying to say, but they won't let us play that way.
Yeah,
So this is the easiest, quickest way to fix it. And then, like I said, Don and I have been working pretty closely hand in hand here to make sure we don't have any issues going forward.
yeah.
So what does the snowmobile club think of this?
We're not happy, because good, we're running out of money.
Yeah, you're running out of money the way it is, and now
Yeah.
this comes up.
You know, and we did all that dirt work like I brought up earlier in the year, you know, we spent $17,000, you know, so you kind of plan on, we built a budget.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, all of a sudden.
Yeah,
is
10 grand, give it back.
That's something.
I suppose if you don't give it back, they're not gonna give you any more in the future.
Correct.
You know, that's what it is.
So.
You don't give it back, it's gonna take it. So, okay, so,
Yes.
motion to, well, you made, well, okay, Marty made a motion to, accept this. What's called, the department. And you're effective, all in favor?
I have a question before we go to that.
Okay,
So now, part of this money goes back to Ashland County.
Right.
And what did Ashland County do? Do they have, I guess what I'm saying is, has Ashland County expended any money to actually do this?
Yes,
They actually have,
I did. Yeah,
in the name of Ashland County.
correct. So the way the grant program works is they give us 50% of the grant up front,
Okay,
which we pass on to the Alliance in November, so they have money to work with. And then we don't get the second half of the grant until after all the work has been done and all the, for lack of a better way of explaining it, all the receipts have been submitted to the state. And if we show that we did the work, then they send the second half out. Well, for the last 2 years with no snow, we weren't able to show enough work.
you know,
And so now they want the money back.
so then Ashland County had got the money?
So Ashland County got the 250% and paid out the 2 second half 50% because I assumed the state would make us whole. And the state's saying they're not going to make us whole. So now in order to put all the bookwork back to bed, the money's got to go back.
oh, okay.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Oh, it was, Marty made the motion, second by Gary, so, okay. All in favor, if you're saying aye. Aye. Hold same time. Okay, turning into motion, carry.
So the next issue, we don't need to discuss, we've got that, kind of put that in as a placeholder in case we needed to have that conversation, but we do not. The last item E is possible land sale. Everybody should have got a letter in their packet. Oh, 2 years ago, we bought 5 parcels from BCPL. And those parcels, we've been waiting to get surveyed so we can enter those into the county forest program. Last year, I was able to get funding to budget for the survey project. This past late summer, early fall, the surveying work was completed. We now have the map, so now we can apply to put those 5 parcels into the county forest program. Once those parcels are in the county forest program, they don't come out of the county forest program. That's like a permanent decision you're making. State statute makes it very difficult to take county forest land out of the county forest program and do something with it otherwise. Part of the process of surveying, put some survey markers down a private landowner's driveway and got his attention that something was going on with the state land that was next door to him, and he reached out to me and wanted to know what was going on. And when I explained what was going on, he then wanted to know if we would be interested in selling a portion of that 40 to him. The 40 is split in half by a town road. The north half abuts his private property, the south half butts up to a county 40. The piece of the 40 that he's interested in purchasing is a piece of the 40 that I'm not interested in owning. It's mostly swamp. There's very little management that's going to go on that property. There's very little opportunity to generate revenue off of that property. So he's wondering if he could purchase the piece of property that abuts his property north of the town road. And then we would retain the piece of property on the south side of the town road, which does have some manageable timber on, but it solves an access question for us. The other caveat with the piece of property that he owns and that we adjoin is somehow in the past, a public access to the lake was created there. Somehow that public access has fallen to the county forestry department to manage and maintain. However, there's no documentation in history that shows how that came about or how that exists. He's offering to write an easement for that public access to the lake on his property in exchange to help him buy the piece of property that we now own. So I told him I would bring that to the committee to judge the committee's interest in possibly pursuing that sale. And secondly, and more importantly, I think how we're going to pursue that sale. So my first question would be, does the committee want to move forward with possibly selling a portion of that 40 to somebody other than the county, and we maintain ownership of the other piece of property?
What township is he in?
Jacobs.
Who is the individual?
I don't remember his name off the top of my head. He lives in Eau Claire.
Does the piece of property that we would be say if we sold everything north of the road, do we know exactly how many acres it is?
I don't know exactly how many acres it is. I would guess it's about 22 or 23 acres.
Okay, did he make an offer?
He did not make an offer yet.
Vincent
I
Barron.
told, what's that?
Vincent Barron is the landowner.
That doesn't sound right, but
That's what's
But
on
it could-
here.
he's from Eau Claire.
I just thought that.
He did not make an offer because I told him, I said, don't make me an offer because I don't know A, that we're gonna want to sell it, and B, I don't know what process we're gonna use to sell it.
Okay, but I got one more question if I can. The property that he does own, is it in any forest crop program?
It is not.
Marty, you got something?
Yeah, this is a lake access up at the public uses now.
Correct.
Okay.
And he allows it to exist on his property. He's aware of it and he allows it to exist, but it doesn't exist formally. So if he got a bee in his bonnet, he could shut public access down to the lake, and it's the only access point on the lake,
What lake is that?
Long Lake. Or no,
Augustine.
Augustine, I'm sorry.
Roughly 18 acres.
And the county highway end.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be seed like so, I mean, because if we don't do it, then you'll get bullheaded, not just want to do it. Crazy. Cost on it. And we have, I'm on the zoning committee also, and we have a realtor that does that stuff, so we could just run it through him. And that. You like that?
I don't get that idea. The only thing is, we're getting something, we're selling something, but we're getting something. From him, because we'd be getting the easement. But I worked for the county for 42.5 years. And you can't just sell it to him. I believe we have to put it up for public sale.
Well, that's my next question. So my first question is there interest in selling the property? And the second question, like I said, would be how we were gonna do that. Because obviously, I think it would have to be opened up to like a public bidding process.
A trade might be more. Palatable, you know, to trade the easement for.
Or we might not have to do that if we're actually getting something. We're actually buying something. And we're getting it in writing. And so we couldn't get that in writing. We couldn't get that same benefit from someone else that doesn't have it. You see what I mean?
Correct. However, the county doesn't have to accept the highest bid out of hand. The county can accept the most advantageous bid to the county, which might mean you take $5,000 less for the property in exchange for the easement for the boat access. The county does not have to take just the highest bid. They can take the most advantageous bid.
My office ran the land sales for how many years? And when you do that, sometimes there's really hard feelings. And the individual can stir up a lot of problems, like, why didn't you take my bid? And we've had, that's just a whole ball of wax. And, you know, but this case is a little bit different because we would be getting something.
I'm of the opinion that if we made the decision we wanted to try to sell that portion of that 40 and we advertised it, put it in the paper and accepted bids, he would probably be the only person who did. He's the only one that has adjoining property that's not swamp.
Yeah, but it's on town road and people bid stupid prices because I've seen it. You know, if you put it out for public, somebody bid some. I guess yeah, you're too quiet.
Maybe we should determine the fair market value of one, that's what we did, and see how close they are.
I guess the thing is, I would personally be in favor of selling it. Everything north of the road in exchange for that. But the only thing is, you might wanna get an offer from him, what he's willing to pay, and then counter offer him what we're willing to pay to give him to get that easement. You know, and let me say it's worth $10,000, well, we'll give you $5,000 for the easement. You see what I mean? And
I still think it's gotta go to public.
well, you know, you might want to get an opinion from our attorney, or you might want to talk to Dan.
I spoke to Dan, he agrees with the advertising it.
Yeah, I think you have to put it up for.
I mean, it's a public asset that's being sold.
But you're actually getting the public gain. Gotta look at it that way. Because you don't have an easement now, and he could shut you off. And so you're actually buying something or getting something in exchange for that. Which that's the only person that actually can give you that benefit. Follow what I'm saying?
I do.
And, you know, I don't know how much that's used, but, so that might be, throw a little different wrinkle into it.
Well, it definitely throws a different wrinkle into it, and that's why I say that the county doesn't have to take the highest bid, they can take the most advantageous bid to the county, which would be boat access.
Yeah.
Because essentially everybody on the lake that puts a boat on the water in the spring uses that access point to launch and then retrieve in the fall.
Yeah.
It's just swamp around.
Yeah, and the boat landing is nothing but swamp. And the ground that he's asking to purchase is mostly swamp. It's just that it butts up to his property and he thinks it'd be a good idea.
The thing is, we still would have to send a bid up. Yes.
We don't have to set a minimum.
Well, then if you do that, they're gonna have all sorts of people bid. You know, you can't just say, here, I'll give you a piece of land, you know. So normally you would put a minimum bid on it, but it would be nice, willing to offer in exchange for that.
Well, I think if we're gonna go to public bidding on it, he's not gonna tell us what his bid's gonna be openly.
No, that's what I mean, yeah, he gonna tell you.
You know what I mean? He's gonna put in his dollar amount and the easement as part of his bid to purchase.
Yeah.
And hope that the easement is enough to sweeten the pot over whatever dollar amount you get from anybody else.
Kind of nice if you know what he would be willing to bid for his lump. And you know what we would be willing to pay him for his easement. You know what I mean? Cause you almost have to put some minimum on it. I would think.
Well, that easement, are you talking about, is that easement going through the county land that we're trying to sell? Is that the one place that legal is?
No, so the situation that we have on Augustine Lake is there's a public access point on the lake that sits on his private property
Oh,
that he allows to exist because he's neighborly.
okay.
But I can't find anywhere, I've looked, and I can't find anywhere back in the records where that was actually like created by anybody. It just exists. And so he's offering to codify it and put it into the record that this easement exists so that there's a public access to this lake.
Yes.
Would it be nice to get that cleaned up all right?
He could put it, he could come up tomorrow and put a gate up and say nobody can launch your boats on Augustine Lake anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, price is going.
Right.
George can say he's got a question. Go ahead, George.
Did I miss when somebody mentioned the acreage that was involved in the small parcel that would be sold? Because when I'm looking at the map, it doesn't look like a very big piece.
It's about 22 acres, George.
North of the road?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, we need a vote on it, sell it.
Well, I mean, the bigger question is, do you want to move forward?
Yeah.
And then the secondary question is, if you do want to move forward, how would you like to move forward? And I guess my third question then would be, if you don't want to move forward with the sale because maybe it's too complicated and causes too many headaches, do you want me to negotiate purchasing some kind of easement language to create that public access to the lake?
Yes.
Because like you said, he could get
Right.
pissy, and if we say, no, we don't want to sell it, he's gonna say, well, then I don't want you using my land to access the lake anymore.
He's going about it the right way. He's coming.
Yeah, and he's been super cordial and not like very over the top or high strung about it. He just, when he saw the survey ribbons hung in the woods, he generated some questions in his mind about what was going on. And then when I explained it to him, he's like, well, you know, would you guys be willing to sell me that portion north of the road?
Which would be good, yeah.
I would make a motion, that we authorize,
What's his name?
yeah. I'm having trouble.
It's okay, I'm right there with you, Marty.
Anyway, that we should not be authorized at all.
I don't need that too.
So I'll second it.
Okay, motion by, or Bill, you wanna say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. I think we should almost get an attorney's opinion to see if we can legally not have to advertise it. And so that you could come to an agreement in exchange for this easement, we would, he would pay us so much or we would pay him so much. And then if we got an attorney's opinion, this is such a unique situation because we would be getting something that we don't have. You know, and that's kind of where.
I think there's two steps to this proposal. One is to agree to sell it.
Yeah.
And then the next one is maybe Chris or somebody talk to.
Make a deal.
He's got, well, somebody's got to see legally how.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I think, I have no problem with selling that, and especially if it's a worthless piece of land and we'd be getting something. So, but the only thing is, I would rather see us legally do it because maybe we don't have to advertise it. Because we're actually purchasing something.
It won't be part of this.
Already is following
And
up
then
on
like the next meeting. Chris, we agree to sell it.
Yeah.
And then Chris can go talk to that guy and talk to the county lawyer. And then kind of come up with a plan and then we can
Then we'll decide when next.
decide next meeting.
We can only two birds at one stone.
Right.
3 birds.
Yeah. Okay, so is there any more discussion? No more questions. So that's what we want to do then. We're gonna have Chris look into this then. We'll move forward with this, look into the plan thing.
We gotta say aye on.
Yeah, okay, so, just be, you know,
Hey, Rich.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just put my 2 cents in here. I think you go ahead and list, go ahead and give Chris the permission to bid that out. You need to bid it out. It's public property. And I think the county board as a whole would have a problem if we don't bid it out. You can always, like Chris said, reject those bids, and take the best one, the one that the landowner has. But public property, you want to bid that out.
Yes, yeah, yeah, we're just having Chris look into it more, and then he's gonna get back to us on how we have to pursue this or what we're gonna do, so.
I think we're agreed on the end result.
Yeah, so.
And ultimately, I mean, to sell it, we'd have to go to the full board and get
Right.
the blessing of the full
Yeah.
board, so. I just wanna make sure that we're taking the right information forward.
Yeah, so. So, okay, so it's been a motion and been seconded already, so, I don't know if we need a roll call vote, because this ain't money, so, okay.
You don't need one, you can do it if you want, but you don't need one.
No,
We're not spending any money.
okay, so, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, okay, motion carried. So, and then Chris, next meeting we'll be talking again.
Yep, definitely. So those are the end of the action items. I just have a couple updates. We gave everybody a copy of the sale results from back in December. We took these to, I believe, exec and had them approve, or it was either exec or finance and approve the sales.
Yeah.
So that we could get the contracts out. We don't technically by state statute have to do that, but that's kind of our process in Ashland County, is somebody approves letting out those contracts. So we wanted to make sure you guys all got a copy of the bid results. And other than that, things are going busy, winter work. Tom and Dad spent a lot of time helping the snowmobile trails get opened up down here on the south end of the county early in the season. And now we're neck deep into winter logging and there's a lot of wood coming out of the woods, so busy.
Which is good.
And that's really all I have unless anybody has any questions.
Wood moving good?
Wood's moving okay, not great, not terrible, but that could have changed since I started to describe the situation to you. It's been that fickle. It's moving a lot. Prices are what they are. They're able to get rid of wood today. A couple weeks ago, they couldn't get rid of wood. It's been a moving target all winter long. But we're into a really good logging winter right now. So I would imagine our markets are gonna go to shit within the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably, heading into the road signs.
I see there's big piles up at Aspen Mat up there.
Yep.
They all kinds of. Okay. Anything else, Chris? Do
No, sir, that's it.
we have to sign your, bills?
No, we do
Nope.
not.
Got rid
Dana
of
had to go to an awards ceremony for her kid at school, so
Oh, okay, he's gonna sign it.
yeah, they'll
Okay.
sign them for us. But we don't sign them anymore.
Or no, oh, okay, usually. I know I see them, I read these, okay. So, then next we have, let's see, yes, comprehensive, yeah, comprehensive plan. So,
Do we have anything that needs to be brought up with?
Not that I've seen yet, no. I know it's coming, it just hasn't got here yet. They've been working on the farm side of it, I guess,
oh,
up to this point.
okay,
And when they get done with that, then when they switch over to the forestry side, then we'll probably have a little bit more to review here.
okay,
But George asked us to put that on the agenda a couple months ago, so we make sure to have that on there.
yeah, you're supposed to have that in every agenda, every once, every, meeting, okay, so with nothing there, so. Then we have to schedule the next meeting date.
Hold on, guys.
George is back.
I was just losing power here. I had to get a cord, but I would like to talk on the public comment
Sure,
piece here for a second. Is that okay?
yes, sure, go ahead.
My battery was dying. So it's just really helpful to get into the recording, the perspectives of the committee, the long-term perspectives on forestry and on the Parks and Recreation side. Because it's just an easy way just to get comments in this recording, doesn't even have to be in the minutes. And everything's happening at once. So I wanted to know if anybody had something to add to the record, just even verbally. On the forestry side, you know, there's been a recent story about the potential forestry-driven aviation fuels manufacturer out of Hayward. And it, you know, in the articles about that, they say it would have a big impact or significant impact on the forestry in southern Ashland County and Bayfield counties. And then just yesterday in zoning, there was a discussion of you know, a business for treating for fence post treating using small growth red pine, and there was a question of the supply of small growth red pine. And then I don't know about our role looking forward, you know, 10-year horizon in terms of encouraging the commercial development of private forestry within the county. And then on the Parks and Recreation side, I'm interested in perspectives on development of trails, particularly with access to rivers, the future of our boat landings and any other park assets that we might have, and our coordination with the DNR and Forestry Service. So any comments that you can just speak into the record, because you guys are closer to this than anybody else, and we almost never get anybody else to show up for public comment. So whatever you have to say about it would be very useful.
Chris, unless you want to give an update, anything?
Well, you know, just off the cuff, I don't know how to respond to a lot of that. We talked about the aviation fuel thing. That's not been decided yet. My understanding is that it'll be a lot of refuse if that goes into effect, at least to get started. I mean, it would be very beneficial to have in the area, especially from an employment standpoint. Young red pine, I can't imagine where they'd find young red pines. That would be very difficult to do, I would think. Most people that take the time and make the investment to plant trees want to grow them past fence post size.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be difficult. And on the recreation side, I mean, that's something that we've talked about in the past, but we don't really have a lot of developed recreation within the county forest itself. Snowmobile trails and ATV access, and then basically it's hunting and fishing after that. We don't have any county parks or any county trails or anything like that, so there's not a lot to address at this point, other than, you know, the desire going forward to maybe having some of those resources, but we don't have them at this time, so.
We have one boat landing that we take care of.
So we've got several boat landings we take care of. We have 2 on Lake Superior, and we've got a handful of primitive landings in the county forest that we take care of as well.
Okay.
And
just one feedback on the red pine. The comment yesterday was that when you plant red pine, after about 10 years, you need to thin. And so at about the age group that you would be thinning from your planting of red pine might be a source in the future.
That could be a source, absolutely. First thin red pine could absolutely be a source.
Ashland County doesn't have hardly any.
There's not a lot, no.
Is there a little bit?
And like the stuff that was planted in the county forest back in the day is reaching, you know, financial maturity, and we're converting those stands into other native species that are undergrowing, like aspen and hardwood. And there's not a lot of planting that occurs in Ashland County. Now there's a lot of planting that occurs in northern Wisconsin, but not specifically in Ashland County. So depending on their business model, if they can afford to go further afield to get their resource to make their fence posts, they could probably
Get closer to the same.
Yeah, well, they were talking about a potential future facility down around Marengo, so that's definitely Ashland County.
Right, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if they go, they'd have to go further afield probably to find their resource. First in pine, you'd see more of that coming from like Douglas County, Bayfield County.
Thank you.
Yep, welcome. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to make a comment about that sustainable aviation fuel. You know, obviously it's kind of really in the information gathering stage right now, but there is a meeting Friday, January 23rd, the Wisconsin Council on Forestry, Sound Forestry and Policy Committee. they're having a meeting and, they're gonna cover that for half an hour. And they're gonna have some of the business reps there kind of pitching their business plan. So, if you want to go on the DNR website and search the Wisconsin Council on Forestry, I think I'm gonna do it. So if you guys have time to do it, I think that's gonna be, a prime place to kind of get some of these basic facts about that. So.
Okay, thanks. Is there anything else then? Any questions at all or anything?
You guys gotta set a meeting date and time.
Yeah, we'll probably set our next meeting if the committee is acceptable with it, March 4th.
March 4th. Gone?
I'm going to Hawaii.
I did these. Where's the end of March of the game?
We can schedule a thing.
Yeah.
So that's the 4th of March.
Correct.
9:30.
9:30.
I should get that on. Okay, and nothing else, I guess we just need,
Is there anything that needs to be brought up on that March 4th? Is that a set date or are we waiting?
The only thing that at this point, the only thing that would be on that would be the land sale discussion again. I should have more information by then.
And that's pretty.
yeah,
We got a month and a half.
right, so yeah,
Could be more.
Chris will have it all figured out.
9:30 stuff.
Yeah, 9:30.
I'll make a motion to shut this meeting.
Okay,
Before we do that, I got a question.
okay, go ahead.
When a sale gets finalized, do you report to the committee that this sale is completed or something?
No, we never have.
That would be kind of nice to know when did.
When it was completed?
Yeah, but if one was just.
Yeah, we
I know, but I'm just saying that when a sale is completed, how do we know? Is it important to us? Not important, but.
I'm of the opinion it's not important to you, but if it's important to you, we can make changes.
Well,
we're looking for things to do, so if you'd like us to add that to our list.
Well, I just, you would know if everything's paid for and everything else, you can say.
Well, yeah, we've got a whole closeout process when we get to the end of a sale. Obviously, we know what billing we have out, we know what payments we've received. We hold that open until all those payments are received. And they meet all their contractual obligations out in the field, like closing of roads and restoring, fixing any problems or anything. Then we close it and send their bond back to them, and then we've got a bunch of process within the state's system that we complete as well to signify that sale is closed. The only time the committee, I think, would ever be involved other than in sale extensions would be if we had a situation where a logger was saying, I'm not doing that. And we're telling him you gotta put a new culvert in and he's saying, I'm not doing that. Then we'd probably have to come to the committee for some backup and some policy decision-making type things, but otherwise, I don't know if there's something specific that you're looking for, Bill, we can try to provide it, but otherwise, I don't think it would benefit you to know one way or the other.
I was just wondering, let's say somebody defaulted on a sale period.
Then you would know about that.
Yeah.
You would obviously.
You would
know
bring
about
that to us.
Absolutely.
Because they would have to submit a bond, right?
Absolutely. Anything out of the norm would come to the committee.
That's what I'm.
I made a motion.
I know.
Motion by Jerry to adjourn. Need a second? Then second by Marty, all in favor, please by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Motion carried.
Yes.
Gary.
No,
It's 11 o'clock, I have to get back.